Log recording. It's 5:56 in the morning, almost 6 o'clock. I'm not even live or awake yet this morning. What the hell am I doing up? It's the 10th of August, 2023. We were down zeros in California. All that sort of good stuff. And right now, I'm tearing myself apart left and right, trying to get myself and my mortal corpse working here. Besides getting myself sliced and diced. Yeah. Trying to wash this damn cup out with a sponge, and I sliced myself on these things. Chips happen in cups. I mean, either you make them into your, you may not be able to see the damn thing or not. I'm just keeping it away from the computer so I don't pour the damn thing on it and ruin it. That's all I need this morning. I mean, no. Let's not self sabotage ourselves this morning. I mean, it's good enough for that one, isn't it? But it was like how to add to deal with today. I've got class coming up on Monday. I haven't been to school in a long while. I'm driving myself insane over this situation over here. I don't even know why I'm up right now. Except my bladder kept telling me, you need to get up. Okay, I got up. Now what? I like to go back to sleep. But I can't. I mean, I could. But the thing is, I'm trying to retrain my brain and my body to get back into the mode where I need to be up all damn day long till I get home and take a lap or go to bed about 6 or 7 o'clock at night and then deal with that. And I have to. I have to get myself trained a little bit. So when I go to school and when I come back home, I'm barely functioning. I still got to feed my dog. I got to make sure that there's going to be food. There's going to be dry food and plenty of water for her down there, fresh. And when I come back home, I got to feed the solids to her. And if she doesn't eat it, fine. She does, cool. But it's like I'm rushing today. It's Thursday. But I'm rushing today. I'm rushing in here. It's like I had to rush like crazy, and I was doing this to myself last night. I couldn't even function last night. You kidding me? I kept tossing and turning about this, whatever was going on, and I was really having an issue. I only had about maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours of sleep. I get up this morning. I'm looking for a first aid kit. I'm knocking shit over. That's why the back of the area looks like it's out of whack. It's out of joint. And it should be, because I just made it that way. Oh, because I needed to get a first aid kit. Some of the stuff I got is in the bag and hopefully not rendered useless by all the damn bug wars going on. And how I'm feeling this morning is I really need to get up this morning. I mean, do I really need this shit? Well, there I go, cursing and cussing like a salty sailor again. That's all I need. I'm trying to stay the hell away from the national news right now. Here comes KTLA. Hold on. Maui fire. 36 dead. KTLA is on right now. 36.
At this hour, thousands of people have been evacuated, both tourists and residents of the island. But shelter space is running out, with the governor saying they don't have enough space for everyone. Many scrambling to get on flights at the airport, with the National Guard now assisting in those evacuations. But authorities adding some of those evacuation response efforts are being hampered by widespread cell service outages, preventing people from calling 911. Throughout this summer, Hawaii has been experiencing drought. It's been hot, it's been dry, it's been a tinderbox. So when this hurricane, hundreds of miles away, caused high winds to hit Hawaii, it didn't take long for those fires to ignite, with officials saying they didn't see it coming. We never anticipated in this state that a hurricane which did not make impact on our islands will cause this type of wildfires. Wildfires that wiped out communities, wildfires that wiped out businesses, wildfires that destroyed homes. And the lieutenant governor there going on to say if you have plans to come to Maui, cancel them, asking folks to turn around and to avoid coming to the island altogether. Meanwhile, airlines like Southwest trying to add as many flights as possible to help get people out of the area. Reporting live from the newsroom, Annie Rose Ramos sending it back to you both in the studio. Annie Rose, thank you. Tense moments caught on camera in the Fairfax district of Los Angeles as flames engulfed a residential building overnight. Fire first broke out just after 3 on North Gardner Street near Melrose Avenue. Firefighters were battling flames on the roof when the fire became too intense and they had to pull back. Crews managed to knock down the fire about a half hour later. It's unclear if anyone was hurt. The cause is unknown.
Oh boy. You know, it was bad enough when I was seeing the fires in Southern California. And the people in Hawaii don't have a history about that. The high winds that they were experiencing from the low pressure above them and the high pressure that was moving past them and everything else that they were experiencing. They didn't understand how come different areas were exploding and fire and flame. Enough dry, burnable material, low, low moisture in the air, extreme heats. Thing is, we know about fire out here in California and the mainland because there's different areas out here that we know about that when the wind's blowing, there's enough pressure going on and there's just the right conditions. We can get a fire going on like crazy and keep the damn thing going. If there's high moisture in the air, if there's high humidity, the fire is not going to be burnable as much. Be easier to get a handle on. But high winds and dry air, the winds would carry the ashes for miles. They'd seen it happen all the time out here. Whenever we get whenever we get the high winds and extreme temperature and low humidity, we know that it's fire weather. We know it. It doesn't matter if they're Santa Anas or not. We know that it's a pain in the ass. Knocking against power lines and snapping the lines is a good way of starting the fires that way. Human stupidity is another way of starting the damn fire. We got cell phone towers all over the place that we have cell coverage one way or another. The island doesn't. Maui doesn't. Maui has never experienced ongoing fire before. Once in a while, that's one thing. House fires, but they have never experienced what we mainlanders had to deal with all of our lives. People would be afraid of having fires in the plains. Sometimes they would, and other times they don't. But out here in California, yeah, we have it. We have the hillsides, we have the mountains, we have the material out there. 57 years old, and I've seen a lot of them, and there's been more before I was born. In the early 70s, they actually did have the Malibu fire, and the technology that they had was barely enough to contain the damn thing. Burned for days, chewed up a lot of acreage. I'd seen the surrounding hillsides go up in my lifetime. I'd seen Topanga Canyon go up, Malibu Canyon free, and go up in flames. All the way past Canyon Dune Road. I'd seen Topanga Canyon going east and southbound, just burning things up. I had seen how Chatsworth and Topanga Canyon areas got torched a bit the last 30 years. Hillsides, Chatsworth, Granada Hills, last 40 years. And portions of Granada Hills would go up well before the residential areas. Scared the hell out of everybody and start chewing up property left and right. Santa Clarita, Angeles Forest area heading all the way towards Kern and beyond. I'd seen those areas go up like crazy. Valencia. See, I'd practically seen in my lifetime a lot of fire spots. San Bernardino going up in flames, Riverside going up in flames. Different portions of LA County and LA City go up in flames. I'd seen it. I'd seen how it was devastating. I remember the fear and the tightening of the chest and the lack of breath coming into my body half the time, seeing all that. Little individual fires are one thing, a commercial building is another thing. You know, maybe 20 or 25 acres, okay, that's depending where the hell the damn thing's at. In the middle of the city of Los Angeles, the county regions, inside the deeper portions, well on the south line. Some of the mountainsides would go up, the little hills would go up. But the ones that scare the hell out of them is when we have the national forests going up. Cal Fire would be jumping in their asses on that one. And it was bad enough when I was living out here in Antelope Valley from 205 to now that there are certain times and certain seasons that we come up, and I'm more worried about the scrub fire than I am worried about major mountains going up in smoke. Because for me out here in the desert region of Rosemead, California, if you ever looked at the maps, Google map it, and take a look at the terrain that we got to work with and deal with. Where are residential areas that the Google guys had taken pictures of, and how much of that scares the hell out of people, though. People with cars, no problem. They can just get the hell out of here. But we have limited areas to get the hell out of here in the first place. 15 freeway or passages in the hillsides or even through Angeles. When we had the fires, they had to be shut down like crazy. Elizabeth Road, Soledad Canyon, Parablossom, Sierra Highway. Sierra Highway going directly from the Antelope Valley into Santa Clarita, just barely following the 14 freeway. Driving through the canyons years ago, a few years after a fire had gone through, you could see the devastation and the rebuilding of the areas just by what they're going through. Not to mention Soledad going through it. You'd see the char and you see the burn areas, and then you see nature trying to rebuild itself. And you realize how vulnerable everything else is. How scary and terrifying it can be. Even taking a train ride, you'd still see some of the burn areas from Antelope Valley all the way over to Metro Union Station. I don't get spooked often when it comes down for commercial buildings when you're talking about in a city, because you're surrounding and drowning it, and you got the fire resources. Living on an island that hadn't gone through that damn stuff, year after year after year, in one spot or another spot or another. They didn't have to worry about that. Hurricanes will tear their ass apart with a lot of wind, a lot of rain, a lot of drowning, or good strong storm system going through and drowning everything else on the island. But island would have a resiliency of itself to bounce back from it. Or better yet, that you would have lava from active volcanoes. You would try to outrun, and outrace this damn stuff with vehicles. Yeah, you can, but walking, oh, you better run. Otherwise, you're dead. You're right in the midst of a damn lava flow. Big island of Hawaii. Past few years, they've had problems concerning about lava flows going and taking out neighborhood after neighborhood. They were showing that on the internet. They were showing that on the news. Well, what's devastating enough is seeing Maui getting his ass kicked by a hurricane force winds and another pressure gradient, and then all hell break loose. And the wind's tearing the island apart. That's not the winds. It's the fire. Not enough experience when it comes down for forestry. Not enough experience when it comes down for major, major fires. We had to keep borrowing equipment from Canada. We got snorkel copters, suck up some water in a lake and then or the ocean and just dump it on stuff. We got scooper planes, basically. Open up its lower bay, scoop up the water inside, and do a run and dump on it. Different firefighting techniques that we've discovered and learned and how to deal with, and so did Canada. We'd borrow one or two super scoopers because they know how much we get into fires like crazy out here in the Southland. It's a blessing seeing these kind of planes, but the thing is, we wish everyone else would have more of these planes and also have access to water sources to do that. when got into the drought situation over the past 10 years, I kept thinking we're going to have less resources to knock down these sorry sons of bitches left and right because they're getting worse and worse. I keep looking at the mountain ranges that we've got around here, and would they have enough scrub brush to really put a dent on everybody around here? People with cars can get the hell out real fast, but me and my dog are trapped. We don't have a car, we can't afford one, can't get transportation, we're stuck. But seeing fire surrounding you little bit by little bit does a bit of a damage on you. It doesn't toughen you up. Not for me. It just makes me more and more hating the damn thing and scared shitless of it. Because I was always afraid of fire skipping from one place to another place. And the things I keep learning about more and more about the fires these days is wind will drive ashes to different areas. And if there's hot ashes coming out of the fires, spot fires here and there, drive more and more of the flames to different places. It was always upsetting me left and right when we started, when not started, but when we had these kind of fires going on in my lifetime. Because I was always afraid of those hot ashes getting on top of our roof, and then we're dead. Every time it was a fire, and we were in one particular area that in the valley, or even out here in Antelope Valley, it was just hot ash. I had a hot amber flying through the air and landing too damn close for comfort, and then watching all hell break loose. That's what scared the hell out of me, more often than not. It would terrify me. Seeing Maui going up, I was reliving the days, and then seeing communities going up and scared, terrified, had no way to get the hell away from it except to die or try to find water and hide in it. It's like there's this fire beast in there looking for victims to burn up just for the fun of it. Scary as hell. I've seen too much of it in my lifetime, and it's going to continue on because fire is a natural element. Planet's had its own fire storms left and right throughout the millennium, actually throughout the millions of years since its conception, I guess. It's one thing having molten rock coming up, causing fire rush. But it gets worse is when we have mankind doing stupidity and offering more opportunities for even bigger blazes to happen. And that scares the hell out of me even worse. I have a therapist who hasn't gone through the stuff I've had. She can only be a sounding board, but she truly hasn't gone through it. Not as long as I have, and not seen how it worked. Bouncing from place to place. From one end of the valley, you could just start up at another end of the valley. The wind's carrying the embers just right. Carry it for miles until it bounces to a an area and they've still got life left in it, creates another firestorm. And that would happen. Not just dealing with the scrub brush. I'm talking about the mountain ranges. And sometimes the mountain ranges would be blowing if the winds were just right. Would carry the ambers maybe about 5, 10, maybe 20 miles. And then you never know if it starts a fire or starts smoldering somewhere until it picks up and then gets going. We'd seen that happen to I'd seen that happen too many times. I'd watched it on the news and seeing how one flame over here and there's another flame over there and there's another flame over there. And I would see on the news and also when watching this in person, see smoke flame right over here and then maybe about an hour or two, here comes another one over here. How'd that happen? You have fire department right over here. Winds be blowing, and they're keeping a watch on it, and they try to get their trucks in gear, and then try to stomp on it as fast as they can. They get one, but they miss another one, and here comes, and then they have to stomp on that one while trying to get the main one under control. We're spread out laterally in the mainland here. But seeing how Maui was doing it with lack of resources, jeez, they can deal with a house-to-house fire or maybe a building fire if they had to, but they hadn't had the experience or equipment necessary to deal with a major containment. They'd have to beg, borrow, and get it from other places around them if they can. It takes hours to get to the mainland, even flying the equipment over there. Just saying that just kind of drives me crazy for this morning. I was going to be griping and grumbling about what kind of a rotten day I'm having, and these guys are having the worst day. Sliced myself on my cup. I was trying to wash it out with a sponge, and I caught the chipped edge of this thing. Probably can't see it as much, but there's a chip in here, right here, and I caught this on the webbing on my left hand, right in here. Hurts. So I got it bandaged up as best as I could. Yeah, it's a hell of a way to end this particular week, and look forward next week. I'll tell you that much. I did a video earlier on with a different kind of ranting and raving. I guess this is going to be one of those too, but I'll save that, save both of these for a little bit later. How I'm doing, I'll let you know.